Good morning. Hello. How are you? I don't have the whiz bang opening for a fairly simple reason. There seems to be a glitch with the tech who's running the show. And I'm going to have to ask Billy what I've done wrong again. And that's exactly what this video is about. It's exactly what I want to talk about because so many crazy things have been happening to so many people lately, including me. And yesterday, I saw it in the middle of it, and um, I saw so many examples, and I kept thinking, wow, this is just so perfect. And then this morning, I get a couple of emails from people who communicate their ideas about marketing and communications. And one of them is Seth Godin, and another one is Rob Hatch, and another one, there's two or three of them. Anyway, today, one of them sent me what they were talking about and how they do this. So here's the story today. The question today is, what happens when the show must go on, whatever the show happens to be? What happens? And you are the only one who knows what's supposed to happen. What happens when you can't be there? What happens? Who is your second in command? When we are small business entrepreneurs, when we are the mom, when we are the dad, when we are the provider, when we are the white knight, and we have, when we're the troubleshooter, when we have taught the world that we are their go-to, what happens when we need to access our go-to number two? Do we have one? I know that I have been so guilty of that I've run myself ragged. No, I can't go. I have this wrong. I have that wrong. Have I gone anyway? Yes. Why? Well, I didn't have a backup. I didn't have my lieutenant, my lieutenant. I didn't have that person who knows the drill. Why didn't I have that? Well, I thought I could do it myself. It was easier if I just do it myself. No, I'll just do it myself. How many of you say that? How many of you say that? And I'm just going to turn this, see if I can turn this on. Okay, I want this. There we go. Is that doing it? I don't know. I can't see any chats. So, oh, I see. I'm going to type a message here. Chat with me. There. Hi, everyone. I've done that. Now we'll see what happens. Okay. See? What I, good morning, Fran. What I know I am guilty of doing is keeping it all in my head. I make notes. I have binders of things. When I was back and forth into the hospitals and I was talking to all these different doctors, there were so many doctors and so many specialists, and everybody using language in ways that I didn't understand. I had a pretty good vocabulary. No, I'm no slouch, but they were saying things, and God bless them. God bless them, forgetting that I don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I know it's because they talk amongst themselves in their meetings, in their strategy session. And then they come in and they give you, us, we, the next step outline, forgetting that we, us, you and me, we're still way back at the beginning of the path. We've just finished parking the car. They walk in and say, on the other hand, and you say, what? Who? And by the way, who are you? So if we don't have someone to carry the extra stuff, if we don't make that a priority for us, it's all on us. And sometimes we're not up to it because things happen. So I'm going to tell you a sequence of events. Okay. A friend of mine is very concerned about a loved one who isn't well. That's just kind of on the, on the stove, there's four elements, and there's always that small one at the back. I never use. Um, well, in fairness, I so seldom use the stove. But anyway, the small element at the back we never use. However, if you accidentally turn it on and then walk away, there's heat emanating, even if it's on low. There's heat emanating, and that's creating a change in the atmosphere around you. Well, that's what happens when we don't, first of all, create compartments, and secondly, find the people who are good at that and hand it over to them. Maybe not 100%, but at least get them in the loop. So here's this friend of mine who's very concerned about a loved one who's sick. Okay. This friend of mine is also in charge of a very exciting, very demanding program that is a real heart piece. It's really, really, really close to their heart. And all of a sudden, there is a change in that project program. And all of a sudden, it is all hands on deck to step up and do more and be more because a huge opportunity has just opened up. And my friend is in charge. That's two. Three, a very, very close personal friend. That's a loved one, a project, and a close personal friend is having a life crisis. And this person I know is a great friend and would never abandon someone who is having a life crisis, ever. So now you have this person whose heart is torn in three directions. The loved one who is counting on my friend. The project that will fail or succeed because of my friend. And the friend who is lost, set adrift, rudderless, and depends on the safety and the sanctuary and the knowledge that no matter what, this is the dependable shoulder to cry on. Okay. What happens when this person I know is rear-ended in a car accident? Not injured, scared, shocked, traumatized. Cars are right off. Just got the car. Cars are right off. Now, insurance, police report, the other driver who was at fault, full fault, complaining about it, calling them, you don't know who I am. I have people in stuff. Okay. All of that. This is my friend who did not have, never has had a second in command. Why? But you know what? It's not that complicated. I can handle it. Okay. No transportation though. Can luckily afford to do plan B and C, but there's a time delay. There's a time delay just because you need to be with the loved one and you need to be at that meeting, even if you can Zoom, and you need to be that shoulder. It still takes time to rent a car. It still takes time for the check at the hospital because they will you off to make sure you're okay. Okay, so if you deny it, then there's a problem. What if you are injured? So you go. Now there's a wait because everything is backed up. What is going to happen to the loved one who will now be alone in the midst of this health crisis? What is going to happen to the people who require my friend's sign off for the loved one? What is going to happen to the project that so many people are counting on, that so many funds have been diverted to all the people whose lives are going to be changed when that project launches, as it proceeds, and comes to a successful conclusion? And what about the friend who is a mess, who doesn't have the money to hire a therapist, who doesn't know where to turn, who has overextended every which way there is? Why is all of that on this person's shoulders? Why? Did somebody put a gun to a head and say, this is your path in life? Well, technically, yes. The person did. I can take care of everything. I can handle it. I'm strong. I'm good. I got this. Okay, yes, you do. But we're all human and we're all caught in crosshairs and crossfire. There's always a traffic jam. I went somewhere last night and I went to this place. I have been to that place 11,500 times. I know exactly where I'm going. Asleep, eyes closed, blindfolded, upside down, in a water tank. I know how to get there. Yeah. Okay. At the very last minute on the highway, at the very last minute, as I am passing the very last opportunity to get off in order to take a second route to this place, there's a sign that says, blah, blah, exit, closed. That's the exit. So I check my mirrors and I veer off onto the exit ramp and I do a loop-the-loop around, and I make it. And I make it on time. Okay. Should I have checked first? Should I have gone on my fancy schmancy phone and found out if there's any road issues? Sure. Why didn't I do it? Well, because I've been there a million times. I'm good. And if I need a plan B, I got this. Yeah, I could have been hit. I could have hit somebody. I could have gone off the road. That last minute stupid turn. Why did I do that? I didn't need to do that. Well, you do if you're the person who doesn't think they need a second in command. So the two things so that's the setup. That's the setup for this conversation. So the two things that I want to talk about today about that are how we fix it, how we give ourselves permission to let go of the controls and designate. How do we do that? That's the first thing. And the second thing is, how do we teach ourselves to plan ahead for potential disruptions? Well, we can't know everything, can we? No, but we can look at probabilities. So I'm going to start with that first, and then I'm going to go to the other one. So it is May the 25th. Anything big happening toward the end of May, typically in any given year? Sure. School is out. School at every level is either out or on its way to a happy conclusion for the year, for the season. What does that mean? I'm not a teacher. I don't have kids. No, but everybody else you know does or is. So what is that going to do to their ability to show up if they haven't planned ahead? If they kind of leave everything to the last minute? If they have so many things they're juggling that they simply tell themselves, I don't have time to do that. I'll worry about that when it comes. Okay. So they are the person driving ahead of you on the way to the hospital to see the loved one. They are the bus driver distracted. They are the person at the hospital doing admissions. And all of a sudden, it is brought to their attention that some of us are cows. It is brought to their attention by some well-meaning soul who says, so what are your plans with the kids coming out of school? Blink. Now, whatever else you were focusing on, whatever else they were focusing on that impacts you has just gone out the window. And they are standing there, and the survival part of their brain is saying, what? And the conscious brain is waiting for instructions. They are non-compos mentis. They are not actually in the room. They are a mere shadow, a mere shell of their former selves. What do they do? And what do you do while they are recalibrating? You see, we are not alone. On Shoes Day, I talked about the fact that it's not a spectator sport and everything is a couples dance. Everyone creates ripples. And we, in our little boats, have to figure out how to navigate those ripples when they come upon us. If you're in your little boat and you see a bunch of boats, and you say to yourself, what are the chances that the captain of that boat has no idea that he's actually on the lake because his brain is someplace else? He left his brain in his other pants. That's a good guess. Are we doing that? Are we thinking about it? It's what's it called? Defensive driving? Yeah. Defensive driving is not just about our bus. It's about all the other buses and all the other bus drivers and the boats and the planes and the trains and the automobiles. If we do not give ourselves the space, the time, the room, and the tools to say, all right, where are we? What do I need to do? Do I have to be the one to do it? Who can I find? Who can I select amongst my colleagues and friends and peers and loved ones who has the skills, who has the tools, who has the passion and the time? All those things matter. They can't just be good about it. They can't just be good at it. They have to be ready and willing and able. It's a trifecta situation. And if the first person isn't available, who's your second? Who's your third? Did you think about that? When you look at the life situation you're in, are you the one and only who does these things? And everyone depends on this? What happens, for instance, when there's a big event, everyone's excited, we've all been planning, and all you need to do before you say, okay, I'm ready to shift into let's do this gear? What happens if right before the last thing on your just got to take care of this list, what happens if the last thing blows up in your face? What happens if you wake up and you have the flu, a cold? You've pulled a muscle in your sleep. It happens. What happens if you wake up and you're supposed to be the keynote speaker and there's a giant spot on your face? It's taken over your nose. And you're not a professional makeup artist. What do? Every other thing you were planning to do before you go as the keynote speaker to impress everyone and lead your troops into battle, every other thing you were going to do is completely out the window while you stare at this large spot that has taken over your nose. How do you fix that? You say, I can't go out looking like this. Meanwhile, what about all the other stuff? Oh, yeah, no, I can take care of that. Really? Show me. We can't. We can't. We're not that good. Multitasking, my definition, mine alone, is doing many things badly, because multitasking operates on the law of diminishing returns. The more you do, the more you try to do at the same time, the less good you get at it. How many flaming chainsaws are you going to juggle? I don't know. As many as I can. How many do you normally juggle? One? Okay. Then why are you picking 6? Chances are really good that somewhere along around 3, you're in trouble. But you've promised 6? Okay. Who's got a camera? All of these things that we do because we fail to look at the ground we're on. You know how they say it's a level playing field? Okay, he who is first on the field controls the enemy. Do you know why? He who is first on the field is the one who gets to check the terrain, get to walk the course, gets to see the lay of the land, discovers new and different little issues that have popped. And that's not just, say, golf or a racetrack or a football field. That's camping. That's sailing. That's building a house. That's planning to go on a trip. First on the field, that's the guy in the driveway checking the car, checking the fluids, checking all the hoses and belts, checking the tires, cleaning the windshield, making sure there's extra windshield goop, checking the forecast in case it rains. I got a little rain jacket. Do you have one of those cable things to start the car? Yeah, no, I won't. Yes, you will. Keep that. Anything else? You got that phone number on speed dial for CAA? Do you know somebody close by with a come along winch? Is that obsessive? Of course it is. But you're going out there into the world. And while you do that, there are other people depending on you for other things. If you don't have a backup, you are preparing them for a crisis after a crisis after a crisis. Why would you do that? Ego? Impatience? Control issues? Or you just didn't take the time to say, what if? What if? And it doesn't have to be a disaster. It doesn't have to be a life or death situation. I'm friends with people who manage an apartment building. They're lovely people. They do a brilliant job. All the tenants just love them to death for a reason, because they're good at what they do. They're passionate about what they do. They care. And by the way, they're talented. Okay. One of them got sick, had to go to the hospital, emergency, ambulance. There's going to be surgery. The other one is a little distracted, showing up every day anyway, but leaving early. So how lucky is everyone in the equation? Everyone. That her second in command, her colleague, not really a second, her colleague, has the ability to step up and take over a lot of the jobs that aren't on her playlist. How fortunate is that? Whose genius idea was that? I don't know, but I want to shake their hand. And, in the middle of somebody else's crisis of mammoth proportions, life-changing surgery, and the tenant says, well, my sink is blocked. Okay, is it the only sink? Well, no. Okay, then it's not life-threatening. Well, no, but I should think, I was promised. Okay. Times how many tenants? Times all the people in every tenant's orbit. Everybody they impact with their kvetch now. Well, I'm late for work because I'm this, and they promised me, and I don't know, and I'm going to have to call them. Times how many tenants? Does that add stress to the people who are just trying to get their job done in the midst of something terrible happening? Yes, it's hard. It's very hard. Did it have to happen? No. No, it didn't. Can we correct people who are selfish? No, we can't. No. All we can do is thank the gods that we're not related to them. I know I do that all the time. So what can we do? Well, if we are also tenants, we can be compassionate, and we can be caring, and we can be supportive of the team that's running things and saying, listen, I had a thing on my list to do, but It's not a big deal. I can cope. I can handle it. How are you doing? Do you need a hug? Is there anything that I can bring to this? No, no, it's fine. We're good. Okay. Reaching out when you see that there are problems is part of this decision to pay attention to what is going on. So back to this conversation about how many things can possibly go wrong and how can we plan for them. Well, if you have a calendar on your phone, or you have a calendar, a paper calendar on your desk, or you like to keep a notebook, there are certain predictables. People's birthdays, holidays that everybody celebrates, not necessarily that we're going to celebrate them, but are the stores closed? Are the banks closed? Can you go and get gas? That sort of thing. If you have those just red flagged, but not just on the day, if you can, and I know this is a lot because you're already busy, but you can do a little bit. If you go on your calendar while you're waiting for something, you're in the waiting room for something, or you're in the small room with all the porcelain appliances, you can look at maybe the next month. And if there's something, then you've flagged it on the day, but pre-flag it a couple of days as a reminder, a couple of days ahead. Like tomorrow I have to go and do a thing. I've had it on my calendar for 3 days. And this morning when I looked at my calendar, I said, yeah, there we go. And I've pushed it forward again. So I'm ready. I know about it. It's not, oh my God, was that today? Not that. So that's one very simple thing we can do. Look at the date and then go back, go backwards a couple of days and start saying in 2 days this. And that buys you some time to plan. The second thing is how many things you're doing, how many things you're taking on. Because all of us, even if we're really good at estimating time, what we can't estimate accurately is what it's going to take to account for everybody else that is part of what's going on. If we know that it takes an hour to do something, and we know that it takes 15 minutes to get there, well, if we allow another 20 minutes ahead of that, why 20? Well, because there could be a road closer, like me yesterday. There could be an accident. There could be a slowdown for no particular reason. There could be a crazy person walking down the middle of the highway. There could be, a goat or an orangutan or a snake, and everything comes to a screaming halt. There's your 20 minutes. That's the first thing. You can also look at the list of things you have to do and look at the last 2 you've put on the list. The last 2 before this thing that you're going to do. How urgent are they? I mean, do you really have to try and get them done before this thing you're going to? Can you do them afterwards on the way home? Well, yeah. Okay, then do. Don't make it a life or death thing to pick up the dry cleaning. Unless, of course, the dry cleaning is what you're wearing to the event, then okay, then that should have been 2 days ago. So look at what you're trying to put on your shoulders. Is it all absolutely necessary to the outcome of this particular main event? No? Then it's not a priority. Push it back. Call the people. It's going to have to be tomorrow. Oh, okay, no problem, no worries. Most of the time people say, oh, okay, all right, yeah, sure, no problem. And if they say, oh gosh, tomorrow's no good, okay, then how about Thursday next week? Nothing is life or death except the things that truly are. And we need to learn how to organize them in our gotta do, gotta have, gotta be. Otherwise, we drive ourselves crazy when something else intrudes on our lives, right? We stress ourselves out. So that's the first thing. The first thing is look at what you are not preparing for. On a regular basis, people have to go for doctor's appointments. On a regular basis, people get their eyes checked and their teeth checked and their nose checked and their car checked and their house checked, and on a regular basis. Okay, we are accustomed to that. We accept that. We do that. Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta book a dental appointment. Okay, we accept that. If we accept that, we also need to accept that all these other things, these soft things that we create as our priorities, we have to prepare for those too. We have to plan for those too. We have to reserve the time for those too. We can't just assume it's going to be fine. We can't just assume that it'll all fall into place. The way I did last night. Yeah, I know how to get there. Yeah? Watch this. Ooh. Was I okay? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I was okay. I'm quick. I'm a fairly decent driver. There were no cars around me. The ground was solid beneath my feet, my wheels. Very lucky. Why didn't I just check? I assumed, yeah, I got this. We don't got this. Most of us don't got much of anything. We're just very, very lucky. So that's the first thing, is reminding ourselves, looking at the calendar and saying, so what do we do every Sunday? What do you mean? What do we do every Sunday? Oh, we do this. Okay. Do we have this for it? No, I'll take care of it on Friday or Saturday. I got lots of time. I thought Saturday we were going to do this. What? Oh yeah. Well, I'll do it. You know what? I'll do it Friday. Okay. Why don't we do it now? What are you doing now? Nothing. Well, why don't we do it now? What's the big deal? You've had those conversations. People have had them with you. The big deal is, why not plan ahead? Why not cut yourself some slack? Why not have your plan B and C? Why not give yourself the room, the space, and the ability to step up when you're really needed? Why not give yourself the time, the space, the sanity, the energy, the clear mind to be the person people are going to need? Why not do that? It's too much work? No. The leaping curve is just work in the beginning. Just remember the first time you drove a car. How easy is it now? This is an easy fix. It's an easy get. Plan for the things you know are coming. Give yourself space and time. Executive function. If, then, cause, effect. You're good at it. You just can't be bothered. So what I want you to do is I want you to give it a try. Humor me, said the comedian. Humor me. Give it a try. You don't have to admit that you liked it, that it worked. Because this isn't about shaming and blaming and naming. This is about ease of life. So that you can say, yeah, I got this. I have this new routine. No credit required. So that's first thing. The second thing is, who's your second in command? I don't have anybody. Sure you do. Sure you do. We all do. Who do you know who leans in? They don't have to be a white knight. White knights always have way too much on their plates. If you ask a white knight, you're adding to the madness of their swirl. But you just look around you at somebody who leans in. They may not make a big deal about it, but they show up. They may not show up for long, but you know they're there. You know that if you reached out and you said, hey, are you busy? Most of the time they say, no, why? What's up? I was wondering if I could ask you to do something for me, with me. I'll give it my best. And then tell them. I have another friend who does this amazing thing. Whatever project they're working on, as the project steps and plans and strategies are falling into place, this friend of mine makes a duplicate copy. It's easy. Just copy it. You don't have to do it again. Makes a duplicate copy, puts it in a binder. Has always done this. Why? So there's a binder for this friend of mine. There's a binder for everybody who has specific tasks. It's like, when you're you see these people who hire a contractor to build a house for them. So the contractor is the overseer, and the contractor has all these plans, and the plumber gets a set of the plans that impact the plumbing, and the tile guy similar, and the roofing guy, and the landscape guy, and the foundation guy, or girl, or group, whatever. They all get the plans that are specific to their role in the process. They get the overview. The guy doing the balcony knows that it's not a bungalow. He knows that it's a 7,000 square foot house as opposed to a 700 square foot house, right? He's got that. And then he's got his specific marching orders. Okay. But there's a second binder that has all of that. And my friend sometimes does too. It's easy. Buy 2 binders. Copy everything into the binders. You know what those binders are for? Second in command. What if? And periodically throughout the process, the evolutionary process of the project, this friend of mine has a meeting with those 2 alternate seconds in command. Doesn't take forever. It's an update. And the update pages go in the binders. My friends, all the contractors, and the seconds in command. Why? In case what if happens. In case at the 11th hour, the show must go on, and my friend can't. For whatever reason, cannot. Normally would move heaven and earth. Would move heaven and earth. Cannot. It's not a panic. It's not a, oh my God, what are we going to do? It's 2 phone calls. It's a Zoom meeting. Thank God for the internet. Thank God for the telephone. My friend doesn't have to saddle up a horse and ride across country shouting the British are coming. It's much easier today. How do we pick those people? How do we look around? And when do we look around and say to ourselves, I choose her, I choose him, I choose them? When do we do that? As early as possible. And we don't just randomly pick up the phone for the same person every time, because not everybody is good at everything. Do you know who's guilty? Who's guiltiest of not doing this? I leave it to the last minute all the time. I frantically chase and race and juggle flaming chainsaws all the time. This is why these videos are so healthy for me, helpful for me, and by the way, proven to be true for you, because I have walked this talk. I do this all the time. And in the wake of the single worst, longest disaster of my life to date, knock wood, I have realized that I have been succeeding beyond all reasonable expectations because I have gone about it, everything, the wrong way. I do check my mirrors all the time. I am a good driver. Thank God. I am quick on my feet. I am a quick thinker. I do think outside the box. I improvise very well. I'm articulate. I'm fairly bright. Thank God. Because the number of times I have said to myself, what on earth were you thinking? Is too big to count. Because the answer to what on earth were you thinking is I wasn't thinking. I was just doing. And I got to tell you, there's a reason the expression think, plan, do goes in that order. Because if you just do, you've got spend a lot of time going back over what you just did and rethink it and replan it and redo it. Ask me how I know. And my wake-up call was incredibly loud. And it has made me see, in the midst of, doing this wonderful Pivotry project, talking to people about how to bring your best self, how we have all the tools and resources we would ever need. I have forgotten to talk about this. Do you know why? Because we can only write what we know. We can only discuss what we know. You can't discuss something you never heard of. You got no information, you got no tools, you got nothing. It has occurred to me that Pivotry includes partnership. I am the one who says, we're not alone. And then I've marched resolutely off, alone, to tackle the monsters, to take on the enemy. Because I didn't even see it. Why didn't I see it? It's hardwired. It's how I became who I am. So, this one is a team sport today. I have no idea why I couldn't get on the other platform. I will discuss it with Billy, and we will evaluate and fix it. Should I have planned earlier? Yes, of course I should have planned earlier. Should I have checked yesterday? Yes, I should have checked yesterday. Did I? No. Why? Oh, because I assumed I got this. And I should have double checked. I needed to rehearse. I needed to practice. What could possibly go wrong? I should have written down so that I could make a checklist and go over it and be prepared. I didn't do that. Who is my backup? He's out of touch at the moment. Will I get to him? Of course I will. Has this ruined the stream? No. This time I actually clicked go live. We are improving. So, the conversation today, this is a longer video. It was a huge recognition yesterday when I saw all this happening, and I thought, this is really important. This is a really important conversation. Why? Well, because we want our lives to be awesome. We want the things that we look forward to happening for us and with us to be amazing. We want to feel great. We want to go and stand in front of the mirror and say, yeah, we're good. Well, if we want that, we have to do the work to clear the decks, to clear the path, to make it possible. I posted a picture this morning that was taken a long time ago in my 20s. Fellow was auditioning to be a Vogue photographer, and he asked if he could do a photo shoot with me. And so it's those pictures where I'm dressed in white, and sometimes I have a hat, or I'm dressed in a black raincoat. And the one I chose today is a picture of me in a doorway. And the expression that he caught, oh gosh, he was talented. I hope he got his career on the path he wanted. The expression on my face is very, very interesting. I don't think I look apprehensive. I think I look questioning. And what I said in the caption for it was, there are many doors of opportunity that open for us. When we pause on the threshold, we need to ask, am I ready? Is it time? If I go, when I go, what do I hope to find? I don't ask that consciously very often. But it doesn't hurt at the beginning of every day when we look at what's coming up today that we have put in our calendar to say, am I ready? Do I have everything? Is it my time? Do I need to be doing this now? If I do it, when I do it, what am I doing it for? What do I hope to find? Who do I hope to become? What do I hope to change? We can't give ourselves those gifts if we're constantly leaving everything to the last minute, if we're constantly shoving everything off on someone else, if we're constantly taking on things that aren't ours to own. Self-care is not having someone peel you a grape and give you a massage and buy you a fur and hand you the keys to a luxury car. Self-care is looking after you and all the things that you dream of and all the things that you just love to do. If we love to laugh and we love to smile, and that is my all-time number one, shouldn't I take care of the things that get in the way of that? Shouldn't I make sure they're done so that my shoulders are light and I'm excited and I've had time to pick out what I'm going to wear, and I have time to have that lovely bath or shower or whatever, and I don't leave it till the last minute to race there, late, frantic, can't find parking? Don't I owe it to me to do it in a way that makes me say, all right, we got this. It's showtime. Of course I do. Of course I owe it to me. And of course you owe it to you. You're amazing. And all the people who love you, the people who depend on you, they're amazing too. They deserve 100%. So we need to defend ourselves. We need to prepare ourselves. We need to have our army. You know, when I say I've got a Viking boat, who wants an aisle seat? And then I say it's not a cruise. If you get in the boat, you're going to row, damn it. It's Fashion Week in Paris next week. Let's go. We need to find our second in command and our alternate. We need to have our calendar up to date. We need to recognize that there are the hang on, you can do this, and the don't forget to buy milk lists and keep them separate. We need to use the later folder to clear our minds and our hearts and take the deep breaths. We need to remember when we're panicking because it's this or that and I don't know what. There's always a door number 3. Always. We need to do that for us because we're worth it. And because the people we love, who love us back, deserve it too. That's my thing for today. Even as I am guilty of not doing the homework that I am talking about doing. And that's why I'm on the second in command platform, because I couldn't figure out how to get into the first one. So the weekend is upon us. The weather, hopefully for most of us, is going to be good, and if not good, manageable. And if it's difficult to manage, we can reach out to our loved ones and our friends and say, how do we handle this together? So it's going to be a busy time. We're coming to the end of May. There's all kinds of holidays and plans and school and prom and whatnot. Yeah. And our jobs and the people depending on us and the things that are going on around in the world that are difficult. It's going to be a busy weekend. So with that in mind, think about this video. Update your calendar. Update your what ifs. And keep in touch with the people who are your first and second choices as seconds in command. Be good to you. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.